The Silence of the Shepherds, a Call to Righteous Action. Delivered by Reverend Malcolm Levi King. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I stand before y'all today not in despair, but with a fire burning deep in my soul. This ain't just any Sunday morning. This is a day of reckoning. A day to confront the silence that's strangling the truth and letting injustice run wild. Oh yes, the world is in turmoil, and too many of God's shepherds, our leaders, our voices have grown silent when their flock needs them most. But I ask you, how long must the innocent suffer? How many babies must die from the bombs of the mighty before we cry out, enough? How many good, hard-working folks must perish while the wicked prosper? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told us that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And I tell you now, my friends, silence in the face of injustice is a betrayal of God's holy word. The innocent caught in the crossfire. This very month, the skies rained down destruction. Bombs fell on children, on God's most precious, innocent lambs, snatching their futures before they even began. And why? So the powerful can claim more power. So the mighty can strut with pride while mothers weep and fathers bury their young. Tell me, my brothers and sisters, how can we call ourselves followers of Christ if we turn a blind eye to this wickedness? What kind of world are we creating where we justify the slaughter of the innocent in the name of security? The betrayal of the laborer and the immigrant. And here at home, the story is no better. In the land of the free and the home of the brave, we see immigrants, the very hands that built this nation, vilified and cast aside. Hard-working men and women are treated as commodities, rounded up and thrown into for-profit prisons, not because they are dangerous, but because their suffering lines the pockets of the rich. Yet, these same leaders, these so-called elite, know the truth. They know that off-air and amnesty would make this nation richer, stronger, and more united. They know that welcoming the laborer and the immigrant would add to our social security, help rebuild our economy, and renew the soul of this nation. But instead, they choose greed over grace. They choose to divide us rather than unite us. And I ask you today, what would Jesus do? The hypocrisy of the elite. Oh, the elite may be wise in the ways of the world, but their wisdom is corrupted by pride. They know the math. They know the morality. But their hearts are hardened, their ears deaf to the cries of the oppressed, their eyes blind to the suffering around them. Let me remind you, Jesus didn't walk among the elite. He didn't break bread with the proud and the powerful. No! Jesus stood with the poor, the outcast, the worker, the immigrant. He flipped the tables of the money changers, and he rebuked the hypocrites who put profit before people. A dream of justice and equality. Dr. King had a dream. A dream of a nation where workers are treated with dignity, where no one is judged by their immigration status, but by the content of their character. And brothers and sisters, I have that dream too. I dream of a nation where every laborer, every immigrant, every downtrodden soul is given the respect they deserve. I dream of a church that does not stay silent but speaks truth to power, just as Jesus and Dr. King did. A call to action. And so I call on each of you today to rise up. To speak out, to demand justice, not just for yourselves, but for the least among us. Let us not be divided by party lines or labels. This ain't about left or right, this is about right and wrong. This is about love and hate. This is about God's will and man's greed. What would Jesus do? Jesus would not stay silent. He would march with the workers. He would comfort the immigrant. He would stand with the children caught in the crossfire of war. And he would demand justice from the powerful. Conclusion. The time for silence is over. The time for action is now. Let us break the chains of apathy. Let us stand together as one people under God and demand a world where every child is cherished, every worker is respected, and every soul is valued. Can I get an amen? Let us leave this sanctuary today with the fire of justice in our hearts and the determination to make this world a reflection of God's kingdom. Go now, and let your light shine in the darkness.